Hi, it's Edward, back with another video. Please take a moment to click the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing to the channel. Please also share this video via social media and with your friends via email. Thank you for your support. Today, I read several financial news articles. I've included links to the articles in the description below. I encourage you to read the articles to support the authors and news sources. As a private American citizen, I'd like to report and share my transformative thoughts through commentary regarding small sections of these articles that are of public interest. Layoffs are coming in America, and thousands of people have already been impacted. Today, I read an article on KTVU.com written by LaMonica Peters that was titled, "More Tech Job Layoffs Announced at Google, Amazon, and Snap." The author of this article referenced Abby Reyes from the Bay Area Council Economic Institute, who said, the 9-county Bay Area lost almost 17,000 jobs last month, which was the worst monthly job loss we saw since Omicron hit in late 2020 and early 2021. The author of this article went on to say that Google, Amazon, Snap, and Zillow say they're making more cuts to their workforce. Neither Google nor Amazon disclosed how many jobs were being cut this time. Well, here are my thoughts. Perhaps the fact that the Federal Reserve has hiked their Fed funds rate 11 times is starting to have an impact on our economy. The fact that these companies are laying off workers may have something to do with business slowing. Either that or they are looking for ways to be more efficient. My heart goes out to all of these workers who have lost their jobs or will soon be losing their jobs. I truly hope that they have an emergency fund with enough money to sustain themselves until they can find new employment. According to Bankrate's 2023 Annual Emergency Savings Report, 22% of U.S. adults have no emergency savings at all, which was the second lowest percentage in 13 years of polling. Imagine living in the Bay Area with extremely high cost of living and having no emergency fund to rely on. I really hope this isn't the case for the people who have been laid off recently or who will be laid off soon. It's not just big tech that is laying off workers. I read an article today on supermarketnews.com written by Bill Wilson titled, "Walgreens Announces More Corporate Level Layoffs." According to this article, Walgreens is doing another round of layoffs. Back in May, they laid off 500 high-ranking employees and then closed an e-commerce center, eliminating another 400 jobs. Now, they are laying off 267 corporate-level workers, which is 5% of their corporate workforce. The author of this article references Walgreens Boots Alliance CEO Tim Wentworth, who said in a memo, "We've had to make some difficult decisions about budgets and investments, including stopping projects, dramatically reducing our spending, and going line by line in our budgets to unlock all potential savings." Well, it sounds like times are tough at Walgreens. While the stock market has been rallying lately, and we keep hearing about how good our economy is doing in the mainstream media, there are layoffs impacting everyday American people. Apparently, layoffs aren't limited to big tech and Walgreens. I read an article today on CNN.com written by Jordan Valinsky entitled, "Charles Schwab Lays Off About 2,000 Employees." According to the author, Charles Schwab has laid off about 5 to 6% of its employees, amounting to roughly 2,000 people as it looks to cut costs. The author went on to say that the cost-cutting measures were first announced in the summer, with the brokerage looking to cut $500 million in costs as it faces investor pressure. Well, 2,000 people isn't anything to sneeze at. These people will likely need to tighten their belts and spend less money into the economy until they secure new employment. Each one of these layoffs will probably have small ripple effects across the economy. Here's my question. Is this just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to layoffs? Will we start to see a lot more companies laying off human capital in the next year? If we do, how will this impact our economy during a time when everything in life costs a lot more than it did just a few years ago? With regard to our economy, I read an interesting article today on businessinsider.com written by Polly Thompson titled, "More People Are Missing Car Payments in Another Ominous Sign for the Economy." According to the author, a record number of subprime borrowers are behind on their auto loan payments by 60 days or more, according to figures from Fitch Ratings reported by Bloomberg. The rate hit 6.11% in September, the highest since records began in 1994, and was up from 5.93% recorded at the start of the year. I guess some people are unable to continue making the payments for their 60-month, 72-month, 84-month, or 96-month car loans. Or they may have buyer's remorse and are just frustrated and don't want to continue making those car payments. In either scenario, these people will likely face financial repercussions if they fall into default and those vehicles are repossessed. In an economy where people depend so heavily on credit to survive, you don't want to be someone with terrible credit which was trashed because you defaulted on a vehicle loan. That makes life so much more difficult unless you are wealthy and have a lot of cash. But someone with a lot of cash probably wouldn't let his or her vehicle loan fall into default. They may not even have a vehicle loan unless they were taking advantage of a cheap interest rate so they could keep their cash invested to make a financial return. In my opinion, far too many people went out in the past few years when money was cheap and easy and financed an expensive vehicle that they shouldn't have bought. I'm sure it was fun for a while, but being straddled with a large monthly payment for years to come can become too much to handle for those who are struggling during this time of high inflation. I'm a big advocate of buying a good quality used vehicle with high mileage and a great maintenance record. Note, I said a good quality used vehicle. There are vehicles from some manufacturers that I would never consider buying regardless of the mileage and regardless of the maintenance records. I personally would much prefer buying a good quality used vehicle with high mileage that has already depreciated significantly. Vehicles are a depreciating liability, and to me, it makes me sick to think about losing tens of thousands of dollars in depreciation for a new vehicle. I also don't like the idea of paying higher amounts for vehicle registration and vehicle insurance. I'd rather pay less for vehicle registration and less for vehicle insurance on an older used vehicle. When you have an older high mileage vehicle, it has patina and character. You don't need to stress about little scratches or little door dings that happen in everyday life in parking lots. It just doesn't matter as much when you are driving an older high mileage vehicle. When you are driving a new Mercedes S-Class and someone's shopping cart bangs into the side of the car, you just had a very bad day. I'd rather not have to worry about that. I can park my used car anywhere and I don't have to worry about it. If someone bangs their door into the side of my car, it doesn't matter. If a shopping cart hits my car, no big deal. I also don't need to spend money on washing and waxing my car regularly like a lot of people do with a new vehicle. What do you think about this? Do you own a used vehicle? Does any of this resonate with you? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. I read an article today on Yahoo Finance put out by Fortune, written by Alina Botros, titled, "Cracks in the Housing Market Are Growing Larger as Sellers Slash Prices," Redfin says. But beware the all-cash bids. According to the author, nearly 7% of home sellers dropped their asking price in the 4 weeks ending November 5th, which is the highest share on record, tied with the 4 weeks ending October 29th, according to Redfin. In an average month, 3.6% of homes lowered their prices. Sky-high prices and what seems to be higher for longer mortgage rates are to blame. Well, it is refreshing to me to hear all of this because there has been far too much exuberance in the housing market in the past few years. It is nice to hear that the housing market is coming under pressure here in America. Many sellers need to drop their asking prices, in my opinion. There are some people who are out there trying to double their money on a property that they haven't made any improvements to. Some of these homes are just a couple years older and more worn out, but now magically they are worth twice as much. Well, they aren't worth twice as much to me, and apparently they aren't worth twice as much to a lot of other people either. We keep hearing about the shortage in inventory in the real estate market. Maybe all of those layoffs that I reported about today will result in some people being forced to sell their homes, even if they are locked into a 3% mortgage. Some of these people who were recently laid off may not be able to find a job in their city, and they may not be able to find remote work either. Therefore, they may be forced to relocate for another job. They may not want to sell their home with a 3% mortgage, but they may have to do that because of their employment situation. I think this hypothetical scenario that I am describing could potentially happen across the country in the next few years, depending on what happens with the economy. Please keep in mind, I'm just some guy on YouTube, so I could be totally wrong. The author of this article indicates overall home sales are down 23% year over year in the metros included in Redfin's analysis, versus an 11% decline for all cash sales during the same time period. Let me ask you this, do these double-digit declines sound normal to you? I think it is an early indicator that we may potentially see something very interesting transpire in the housing market. Please understand, I'm not trying to discourage anyone from buying a house. If you need a house and the numbers make sense for you and you've completed a lot of due diligence and you plan to be in your area for a long period of time with a stable job, then go ahead and buy one. Just understand that the assessed or appraised value may drop in the short term. Over the long run, real estate has had a great track record. With all of the inflation that we have been experiencing, this trend may continue into the future. Of course, there are no guarantees. You can lose money with any investment. What do you think about the housing market? Are you surprised to see sales slow? Are you surprised that prices are dropping in some areas? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Please keep in mind, nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video via social media or via email with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I also want to thank all of my channel members. Check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.